How's it going, everyone? I hope you're having a good day. Today we have stories of Gen Z girls doing Gen Z moment stuff. I mean, you already know what that's about to be. I know for a fact you'll enjoy this video, so let's sit back, relax, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's just jump right into it. As always, submit these stories to me at either my Twitter or Instagram. Both are Connor Pugs, both are in the description. And also, watch all these stories on Spotify. You normally get them a couple hours early too. And let's call the first subscriber who submitted the story Crawford. So anyways, right, Crawford was in a class, and there was a class project that they all had to do. And when Crawford walked in one day, he was kind of aware of the project, but he wasn't exactly sure, is this going to be one of those projects where I have to do this by myself? Is it going to be a really big group project of 3 to 4 people? Or is this going to be one of those group projects where it's it's you and one other person, and if you get a really bad partner, you're screwed. So anyways, Crawford walks in the class, he sits down and he waits for the teacher, and the teacher's like, all right, class, I just want to let you guys know, we have a pretty big project coming up, it'll be due by the end of the week, and I will be giving you random assigned partners of 2. Crawford in his head's like, oh God, please have mercy, please have mercy. And his teacher was reading out the names, and eventually Crawford heard his name, and he also heard the name of a Gen Z girl. And that's a very, very broad distinction, because Gen Z is literally just a category of what year you were born in. So you might be thinking, what does that even mean, Connor? So when I say Gen Z, I just mean when you see Gen Z memes on the internet. That's what I'm referring to. And for the rest of this video, I'm just going to call her the Gen Z girl. Just make it nice and easy for both of us. So anyways, Crawford goes over to the Gen Z girl, and she's on her phone, and she's just on Instagram or Twitter or something and making TikTok. She's not even paying attention to him. Crawford's like, hey, what's up? How's it going? And Gen Z girl's like, hey, goes back at her phone. Crawford's like, I was wondering if during our free period, this week, you wanted to meet up and work on this project. So basically at this school, they had free periods. They everyone at the same time had a free period. It was kind of like recess, but you could do literally whatever you wanted. I mean, within some exceptions, can't do anything crazy, but you know what I mean. And, Crawford was looking at the Gen Z girl and was like, hey, do you want to do this while we're during our free period? The Gen Z girl looks up and says, yeah, that makes sense, sure. Crawford's like, all right, bet, cool. Can I get your Instagram? And the Gen Z girl's like, are you hitting on me? And Crawford's just looking at her dude, we're class partners. I am not hitting on you. So he says, no, I just need to contact you. And she's like, that sounds suspicious, but whatever. And she gives him his Instagram. So immediately Crawford knows that he's going to be in for a ride. To say the least, he's about to be in for a ride. And sure enough, Crawford the next day comes around after class. So they're in that class again. And by the end of the class, he goes up to the Gen Z girl who he's partners with and is like, hey, just a reminder, today at, a free period, do you want to meet up and do this? And the Gen Z girl's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And Crawford, during the free period, gets up, goes to, because they agree that the place where you do your homework during the free period is they have this kind of open library. There's a bunch of tables, a bunch of desks, basically a bunch of working space. And if anyone at the school does work during the free period, it is always here. So Crawford goes over, he sits down, and he's just kind of waiting. And he's waiting. And the thing is, they only have 30 minutes for free during the free period, and they only have one every single day. So that's not a lot of time, and this project is kind of big. It's kind of big news, right? And it's Crawford's kind of just sitting there, and 15 minutes go by, so 50% of the time is done. So he sends an Instagram DM being like, hey, are you coming? And it immediately gets seen, and he gets no response. The Gen Z girl has just left Crawford on red, asking if she's gonna come. So sure enough, Crawford literally sits there, wasting his entire free period. And 30 minutes go by, the bell rings, and he has to go off to class. So the next day comes around, and he's back in class with the Gen Z girl. And before class, he goes up to her and is like, hey, why weren't you in the free period yesterday? And she's like, oh, sorry, I forgot. And Crawford kind of holds his tongue, because he's like, okay, I know she saw my message. Maybe it was a glitch or something. Maybe she saw it. And, epic Bed Wars move, Connor. That was fantastic. Really play the game right there. Anyways, and maybe she kind of ignored it. Maybe, whatever, right? That's fine. Next day comes around. Crawford goes to the room, or not the room, but the library during the free period. He waits 10 minutes, and once again, she is not there. So he sends her another text over on Instagram being like, hey, just a reminder, like, I'm in the library for free period. We really got to work on this. So he's like, hey, come on now. It's time for us to go. And once again, he gets aired. So the next day comes around. Remember, it is, I think, Wednesday, and it's due on Friday. So before class again with the Gen Z girl, he goes up to her and is like, hey, why weren't you at, like, study hall or not study hall, but why weren't you in the library during free period yesterday? And once again, she's like, oh, I don't know, I forgot. And this time, Crawford's not going to let this slide. He says, hey, I saw that you read my messages. I saw that you read my message yesterday or 2 days ago and yesterday. And, like, you didn't respond to them. I know that you knew that I was in the library. I can't have you keep airing me like this. This is ridiculous. Like, we need to work on this project. And she's like, geez, relax. I didn't know that you were going to get so salty when I rejected you on Monday, that you're going to, like, blame it all on me. And Crawford is looking at her with his look of just confusion. And that's when he remembers that when he asked for her Instagram for contact reasons, right? Maybe he could ask for her number or Snapchat or something. But even those two are sus. What do you want? Like her Telegram account? Like, what are we asking for? Or the WeChat account? Like, well, where are we, bro? And sure enough, Crawford's like, oh my God. Crawford's like, look, no, I'm not mad about that. And also, I wasn't hitting on you, but I'm not that's not what I'm mad about. I'm not even mad. I just want you to show up. I just want you to show up for this. It's a big assignment. I don't want to have to do it all by myself. And, you do get graded on your individual work for this. It's like, worst comes to worst, I just do this all myself. And, like, that's going to be bad on you. I don't want to do all this by myself. I want to do it with someone. I'm giving you the opportunity. Please, today at free period, I will be in the library. And once again, Robert's the name for the next story. Crawford is sitting in the library, and you know what? This time, he doesn't wait for her. He just immediately gets to work. And about 10 minutes in, he sends a message being like, hey, I'm in the library again. You should really come over. I've already started, but you should still come and help with it. Once again, he goes that she does not show up, but Crawford actually gets some good progress done. And at home, Crawford starts doing some of it for homework. Even though he had other homework to do, he realized that he was 2 days behind because he was just waiting around for her for the last 2 days. So sure enough, that time goes by. And he goes up to her in class on Thursday, the day before before Friday, where they present. They have one more free period left. And he goes up to her and is like, hey, look, like, we only have one free period left. I'm going to be in the library today. If you want to do anything for the project, I don't know what else to say, but you should come. Remember, we're being graded individually for the work that we do. And, like, the Gen Z girl was literally on TikTok, just looking at renegade TikToks the entire time. And he's like, okay, that's fine. I will be there, and let me know if you choose to show up. Once again, Crawford goes to the library, and you know who isn't there? You know who is not there? The Gen Z girl. So Crawford's like, screw it. I'm going to finish this. Crawford, who's very smart and very efficient at what he does, finishes the entire project. And he gets it all done. It's totally fine. It's totally done. And the presentation is literally just going to be them standing up there and reading out slides or whatever. So it's like not as if the Gen Z girl isn't going to know what to do when she goes up there. Like, I don't know. Crawford will just read up all the slides or whatever. So sure enough, that night, Crawford goes back home, and he's just sitting in bed. All of his homework is done. The project due tomorrow is done. He's ready for it. Things are good. And that's when he gets a DM back. This is the first message back he's gotten from the Gen Z girl after being left unseen for 4 times or something. And she says, hey, if you tell the teacher that I didn't do anything, I'm gonna write a Twitter thread about you and get you canceled. And Crawford just he saw the notification for the message, and he looked at it briefly, and he was convinced that he read it wrong. So he went into Instagram. He opened up, and by the way, follow my Instagram, Connor Pugs, in the description. He opened up the DM with the Gen Z girl, and he looked at it. He took a screenshot just in case she unsent it because it was so insane. Then he did a screen recording just to prove that it was real because it was so insane. And he's looking at it, and he just looks at the message, and it truly says, if you don't lie about me doing work, I'm going to write a thread about you on Twitter and get you canceled. And Crawford looks at it and replies, I'm not going to lie to the teacher if prompted. Basically, what Crawford meant by that is, I'm not going to go out of my way to say you didn't do anything, even though I easily could. However, if the teacher asks, like, I'm going to tell him the truth. I'm not going to lie about it. Because, like, why would he give her anything, right? He's being generous in the fact that he's not going to say it all outright. So the next day is in class. Crawford sits down, and the Gen Z girl comes up to him and says, hey, you finished our project, right? Crawford's like, of course I did. I always get my stuff done on time. Gives her kind of a look. And she's like, so what are we doing? We just go up there and we read out the slides? And Crawford's like, yes, that's all you got to do. Go up there. I have one slide for you to read. I'm going to do the other four. As long as you can read, you'll be okay. The Gen Z girl says, by the way, if the teacher says anything about like how the work was done, you can't tell him that I didn't do anything. Crawford's like, and because I will write a Twitter thread on you and get you canceled on Twitter, and you don't want that. Crawford, who barely has an Instagram account and has a YouTube account literally only to watch videos, does not have a Tumblr, does not have a Twitter, does not have a MySpace, does not have Discord, thank God. He's a follower of Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, so that's a W right there. He does not have Discord. That's one of the 11th commandment. Thou shalt not go on Discord. Weird place. And anyways, join our Discord server. Link in description. Not even kidding. And Crawford's just looking at her like, okay. Crawford has no intention of caring about that. So they go up there, and Crawford does his 3 slides great, and the Gen Z girl barely stumbles out the words on the screen. And you know why? Because she didn't know what the words were going to be. She didn't prepare. She had no idea what was coming. She was literally just reading off like the slide. It was terrible. And yeah, they went back down, and, they probably were going to get a good grade. And, the teacher just, sent like basically a very basic, handed out a very basic form. They kind of just said, oh, can you give me some feedback about this project? Can you give me some feedback about this group? How did it go? And one of the questions was the work divided up equally? If not, explain. And Crawford was like, I'm just going to say what happened. And Crawford, very in detail, wrote down everything, right? He basically said, hey, I gave her all these chances. She literally did nothing, and she threatened to, expose me online if I didn't. Which sounds insane, and Crawford says, I literally have proof, by the way, if you want it via email. So Crawford was like, screw it, I'm going all out, right? And, the next, a couple days go by, and the grades get posted. And, he gets a DM from the Gen Z girl. Because the grades were posted, Crawford got a 92, because he did well, and the Gen Z girl says, that's it, you're getting exposed. Real quick, if you made it this far into the video, comment Gen Z down below. I just want to see how many people made it this far into the video, and I really do appreciate it. I like seeing your names and faces. Also, if you want to support the channel even more than you already are doing, what you can do is just keep on watching videos. That's literally it. Go to my storytime playlist or just watch more videos in the recommended after this one. It really helps me out. And let me know what you're doing while watching these videos. I am actually interested. Also, these videos are most of the time posted 1 or 2 hours early on Spotify. So if you want to get a little sneak preview, or you just prefer to listen to this on Spotify, it is the first link in the description. Use code ConnorPugs on GamerSupps for 10% off. It helps you, it helps me. If you want to if you want to submit stories, you can do so to either my Twitter or Instagram. Follow me on those platforms and then send me a DM, and I will add them to the archive. We have a Discord server. It's linked in the description. Leave a like if you haven't already. Turn on notifications or you're not cool, and let's get back to the story. So sure enough, Crawford is, then linked a tweet. And he has to download, he has to make a Twitter account, right? And he opens up Twitter, he opens up the link, and it says, why Crawford is a terrible person, a thread, ... And it goes 1, okay, I don't think it's he sucks. 2, he smells. 3, he's the worst. 4, he's a walking L. 5, he's the embodiment of an L. 6, L Crawford. It's not that lame, but it's basically just being oh, he's the worst person ever. He was so annoying to me. He was hitting on me and couldn't take no as an answer. It was the most dumbest stuff ever. Unfortunately, the thing is, right, not unfortunately, fortunately, the Gen Z girl was not smart enough to add the last name of Crawford, which also Crawford could just say it's anyone, right? And the thing is, the Gen Z girl had 3 followers on her account. Follow me on Twitter so that I have more than 3 followers. Let's beat the Gen Z girl, guys. Come on now. Anyways, and the Gen Z girl has 3 followers. So the thread got 1 like from the Gen Z girl's account. That was the 1 like on the account. So thankfully, Crawford was okay. And the Gen Z girl ended up failing because she didn't do anything. Oh no, not a Twitter thread. No. Okay, we're going to call the subscriber the next story Robert. So anyways, right, Robert was in class, and there was this girl in his class who always was kind of like looking at him and watching him and just like, okay, I made it sound really weird because it was kind of weird. And Robert was a little bit creeped out by the whole thing, but he didn't really think that much of it. He's like, oh, whatever, like, this girl probably just accidentally staring at people. Because here's the thing, I will be in public spaces. I will space out for minutes at a time, thinking about something. Maybe there's just like a little hamster running around in a hamster wheel in my brain. I don't know what's going on. And I kind of like focus back into what's going on, and I realize I've been locking eyes with a person for like 10 minutes. It's so embarrassing, but I do it all the time. And a lot of people do end up doing that, and especially if you're not super focused, that happens all the time. And I'm someone who is very spacey. So Robert always thought that this girl was just, I don't know, it was just like a girl who just like accidentally was staring at him. Little did he know that she had basically Wattpad levels of obsession with this guy. This was frickin' Dream SMP Heat Waves level. Yes, I know about it. I wish I didn't. And for you who know, I'm so sorry as well. Anyways, Robert was like, he didn't know anything about it. But one day, Robert was added to a group chat with everyone else in the class. So Robert just added everyone to his contacts because he was like, I might need to know this later. Like maybe I'll be assigned a project. Maybe I'll need to hit someone up. There's only like 20 people in his class and they all said their names in the group chat and he added it. And we're going to call this girl Kate, right? So anyways, he adds Kate to his contacts and Robert has a Twitter account to follow like sports and Bitcoin. Like it's a very just like dude account, right? He has like an egg profile. Oh, okay, it's no longer an egg. It used to be back in the day. If you had a Twitter account without a profile pic, it was like an egg or something. Now it's like a head or something. He had a very basic Twitter account, but I don't know if you know about this feature, but like it'll say allow you to access your contacts. So Robert said, yeah, sure, whatever. Like maybe like the boys are on Twitter or something. He says access and he sees an account and it literally is like, it says like Kate and your contacts. Because it says like whose contact it is. And it's like a bunch of random letters and numbers. So like if you wanted to make like a secretive Twitter account. And he looks at it and it's like a very secretive Twitter account or something. It's just a bunch of random letters and numbers. He clicks into it. He's like, oh, looks like Kate has like a burner account or something. Which why would you use your number on a burner account? Beats me, bro. But anyways, not the point of the video. Sure enough, he clicks into it. And there's one super long thread. So Robert clicks into the thread and it's literally like the beginning of a fan fiction of Kate and Robert. And he's just like, the thing is, the worst thing too, is she says she uses her name and Robert's name. And yes, it could have been a stand-in name. It could have been anything, right? It could have been literally anyone, but no, it was not. It was too much of a coincidence because she speaks about the class that they're in. She describes Robert with like short black hair, which he has. She described one of the shirts he was wearing like a week ago, and Robert was just like, oh my God. And I'm not going to get into the details of it because YouTube Thunderbolt, YouTube's going to Thunderbolt my account, bro, if I get way too into it. It's not like crazy, but it's like, I've definitely typed my name into Wattpad before and thankfully I found nothing. That is not, I don't want to see any changes with that though. Don't do it. Don't do it, okay? Anyways, so Robert is going through this Twitter thread. The most insane thing he's ever seen. And at the very end of it, it has a link. And it says, more stuff like this here. And it's a Wattpad account. If you don't know, Wattpad is a site where if you go to it, your computer will explode. You'll die instantly. So don't go there. Anyways, he clicks on the link and it brings to an account. It is Kate's personal account. And there's a book on there. And by a book, I mean 50 chapters. And by 50 chapters, I mean 50 chapters. 50 chapters of Robert and Kate fan fiction. Also, I think I'm calling someone not legit in the chat for Bed Wars. I don't know. His hits were kind of weird, but also it's high pixels, so I think it was actually legit. Anyways, Robert's looking at this. He's like, oh my God. And he starts reading through it. It is legitimately 50 chapters of a book. It is like War and Peace level novel of Kate x Robert fan fiction. And he's just like, why? What did I do to deserve this? Why am I alive? Just to suffer. So he's going through this. He's like, this is the most insane stuff he's ever seen. He gets the boys on call, goes on like, I don't know, Discord or FaceTime or something, gets them all on, links them this. They all start like cackling behind the scenes like, yo, this is freaking crazy. Like, bro, this is the most insane thing I've ever had. Someone's like, yo, are you gonna hit? Because I know she definitely hit. And Robert's like, shut up, this is weird. And one of the guys was like, all right. This is a very delicate situation. And someone's like, lol. He's like, shut up, it's a delicate situation. Robert, this is very weird. Like, this is an obsession. There's no way around it. 50 chapters, goddamn. And Robert's like, shut up, I know. He's like, okay, I'm sorry, I had to do it. I have to do it to you. And he's like, 50 chapters, that's a lot of writing. You know, this girl probably gets F's in English, but can write like War and Peace level novels about you. So I don't know what to say about that, but it is what it is. And Robert's like, hey, do you think I could like get out of that class? And Robert's, you know, his friends are like, I don't know, it's pretty late in the year. And Robert's like, well, here's the thing. I know that my teacher, Miss Davenport, in that class, you know, she has another class later in the day, and it's during one of my frees. I think I could switch classes. So sure enough, Robert sends a teacher saying, hey, I just want to, like, is it possible for me to switch into one of your later classes? I know it's not, like, easy with the paperwork, but there's something that's gone down that makes me feel very uncomfortable in the class that you're in right now. So Miss Davenport gets back to him and says, hey, Robert, I think that can, like, if you have a free, which, you know, he said he did, I think I can make that work. Basically, both my classes are at the same point. The other class is a little bit behind, so you actually would be a little ahead if I switched you. I can have this done as soon as Tuesday. Not as soon as Monday, as soon as Tuesday. You know what that means? That means Robert went, and for Monday, Robert was in class that day. And when Robert, he's like, okay, this is my last day in this class. He sits down in the very front of the room. And, like, there's some of his boys in that class. And they're just like, he's like, dude, shut up. And, like, the girl, like, Kate, was sitting in the very back. And Robert turned around very briefly, and he locked eye contact with Kate. And he quickly turned around, because normally he wouldn't care. But at this point, he's found the Wattpad. He's found the Wattpad. Run, guys, run. No, he's read what she's written about him. He's like, I gotta get out of here, man. So sure enough, Robert's like, okay, this is weird. I gotta escape. And he's just sitting there. He's just very awkwardly sitting. And he's just waiting. He's honestly just waiting for the class to be done. And he kind of like looks over and he sees one of his friends walking up to Kate. And he's like, what are you doing? And he looks, and the friend is like over at Kate, whispers something in her ear, points to Robert, and then she smiles and like covers her smile. And Robert's like, I'm going to beat your ass if you said anything that isn't true. So basically, the friend comes back up to the front, whispers in Robert's ear, like, yo, I just said that you have a big crush on her. And Robert's like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why? What, do you hate me? And his friend's like, lol, trolling moment. Robert's like, I gotta find new friends. So like the bell rings and Kate gets up and starts walking quickly to Robert. And Robert's like, oh, hell no, bro, I'm getting out of here. Robert gets up and quickly, this power walks out of the class and literally power walks into the boys' bathroom. He just sits there for like 10 minutes. He knows he's going to be a little late to his next class, but he just can't risk it. The next day, his class has moved, right? Now he's in a different section. And from that point on, he really doesn't see Kate ever again. He sees her occasionally in the hallways, but it's really not that big of a deal. I mean, kind of, it's weird, but, his friends say that, Kate, like, kept on updating her Wattpad or Twitter account or whatever for, like, a couple weeks, but after about a couple weeks of Robert not being in her class, she kind of quit the account and the obsession stopped. But, yeah, that was Robert's experience with a Gen Z girl. Final story, we're going to call the subscriber Merritt. So Merritt was on the soccer team, and one Friday evening, right after practice, right, Merritt just wanted to continue, and some of his friends wanted to continue practicing for the game they had tomorrow. They didn't want to wear themselves out, but there was just a few, maneuvers, a few things that they didn't feel like they got done in practice that they just wanted to get done later. So they're on the field. They're on this field. It's not necessarily a soccer field, but it's a field adjacent to it at least. And they're practicing some specific soccer maneuvers. I haven't played soccer in a second, so I'm not even going to pretend to know like I know what this would be. And that's when these two girls come up. And these two girls, we're just going to call them the Gen Z twins. They're not actually twins, but that's what we're going to call them. And one of the Gen Z twins is like, we need this field. And, you know, Merritt grabs like the soccer ball and is like, what? And the Gen Z girl's like, yeah, we need this field. And Merritt's like, yo, we're playing some soccer on it. Like, can you have it later? And she's like, well, no. And we actually need it right now. Do you see that? And the Gen Z girl points to the sun. Merritt's like, yeah, that's the sun. It's epic. Keeps us warm. She's like, no, it is golden hour, Merritt. And Merritt's like, yo, sorry. Like, we're practicing here. And she's like, I want to take pictures for my Instagram in the golden hour, Merritt. Merritt's like, whoa, chill. Like, you don't need the attitude. Look, there's a lot of places to take photos, right? And the Gen Z girl's like, and there's a lot of places to play soccer, Merritt. This is just perfect for my photo. And Merritt decides to counter, hey, this is perfect for my practice. And they're kind of facing off against each other. And the Gen Z girl says, Merritt, I know your girlfriend, Stacy. And Merritt's like, yeah, what about her? The Gen Z girl's like, I'm going to tell Stacy that you hit on me and that you wanted to make out with me, but I said no. And it's going to break the two of you up. And Merritt's like, whoa, like you do that? Merritt takes out his phone, literally hits like record on the voice memos. He's like, wait. Just tell me again, what would you do? Like, I don't think I heard you right the first time. She says, I am going to tell your girlfriend, Stacy, that you wanted to hit on me and that you wanted to kiss me, but I said no, and I'm going to break you two up if you don't let me take photos in the golden hour, Merritt. I need it for the gram. You don't understand. Merritt literally hits end on the voice recording, turns up the volume, and plays the thing back. And she's like, you can't record me without my permission. I'm going to sue you. I'm going to take you to court, Merritt. You don't even understand what power I have. I got 200 followers on my Instagram. How many do you have? Merritt's like, I don't know, like 40. And she's like, oh my God, he only has 40. Lol. Okay, I don't think she says lol. I don't think she actually says that. I really don't think she says that. I just added that. Anyways, Merritt's like, dude, like we're not going to move. And sure enough, this entire conversation, the sun was slowly slipping away more and more, so the golden hour was quickly fleeting. The girl's like, Merritt, let me take photos here. And Merritt's like, you know what? I actually was considering it before you threatened to break me and my girlfriend up. Like, before that, I was actually considering to be like, yeah, sure, whatever. Like, maybe I'm being annoying here. Maybe you only need it for a couple minutes. And she's like, Merritt, please, this golden hour's going away. Merritt, you can make me sad. The golden hour, Merritt's going away. It's slipping away, Merritt. Come on, Merritt. Come on, Merritt. Come on, Merritt. Come on. It's the golden hour. It's slipping away, Merritt. And Merritt's literally standing there. He's like, tough. I'm gonna keep playing. So Merritt goes back to playing with his friends, and the girl decides to be like, you know what? We're just gonna do it anyways. So the two Gen Z girls, they run up to where Merritt and his friends are, and they both push like Merritt and his friends to the side. They both go falling down. And the Gen Z girl's like, quickly. And the other girl like takes like her phone out and is about to take a photo when a soccer ball hits her hand and the phone goes flying. The phone hits the grass so it doesn't crack or anything, but immediately they're like, no! And as soon as they say no, the sun slips behind and the golden hour is gone. Now any photos will be terrible. And the Gen Z girls are like, I hope you're happy. Now we can't have photos for the gram. They both walk away. And Merritt and his friends are like, well, that's tough. I really don't know what else to say. So Merritt the next day at his soccer game, he wins, by the way. His team wins. Afterwards, his girlfriend Stacy comes up to him. It's like, Merritt, like, that was so good. You did such a good job. I'm so proud of you. And Merritt's like, thank you. Oh, by the way, do you know the Gen Z girl? And says this is her actual name. She's like, yeah, we kind of became friends recently. And Merritt's like, well, so I might have a little bit of information that, I don't know, you might want to change your mind on being friends with her. And Stacy's like, what do you mean? And then Merrick goes on to tell her exactly what I just told you.
Click on the video
plus
on
voice
screen right
recording.
now. I know you'll enjoy it. Just click it, do it.